Hello and welcome to Cuesta Sports Monthly, an in-depth look at Cuesta athletics. I'm Peter Schuler. On this month's show, we'll be joined by Cuesta wrestling coach Joe Dansby and his star grappler Alex Garcia. We will also welcome cross-country coach Brian Locher and star harrier Miranda Daschian. And just before we leave, we'll steal a few moments with basketball coaches Rusty Blair and Ron Barba. Right now, we are joined by wrestling coach Joe Dansby and freshman Alex Garcia from the Cuesta wrestling team. The Cougars are currently ranked 12th and will be hosting the regional meet at Cuesta College in December. So welcome, Joe. Welcome, Alex. Thank you for joining us here on Cuesta Sports Monthly.
Great to be here. Thank you.
So this season, you got a little bit of a smaller team, Joe. How's things working out? I know we wanted to have a start at every level, but how are we going?
Yeah, I mean, we do have a few less bodies, but it's we're going to work with what we have. It's just a culmination of things happened where we just didn't have the 30 bodies that we usually have. But it's kind of a unique situation. Our practices need to be a little bit shorter, but we can focus on individuals. So that's been kind of nice, and that's what we're working with.
Now, Alex, you've been ranked number 1 at your weight class right now. Is that focus helped? The coach is more of an individual type thing, or has it been a little bit tougher because they're picking on you a little bit?
No, it's been a lot. It's a lot of work, but I mean, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. Sorry. It's okay. Just say what you're feeling, and
it's a lot of hard work. I mean, individual sports are, kind of easier to work on yourself more, but it's still a lot of competition when dealing with a one-on-one type of sport.
Now, in the room, do you kind of work with the quicker guys? You like to go up a weight class because now you guys have to kind of mix up a little bit, right? Because you don't have another 2 or 3 guys at your weight class. It's just you, and then you guys got a lot of guys moving around this year.
Yeah, he basically has to work with everybody, everybody in the room. I mean, there's no way around working around anybody with the numbers that we have.
Now, does that help you a little bit, having to see different types of styles and sizes?
Yeah. When I wrestle with the lighter guys, I feel like I need to move around more, not really focus on using my strength, rather my technique and my agility. But once I wrestle with a little heavier guys, I can focus on more of my strength and just a lot of my power stuff. Now,
when you're wrestling, are you more are you a strategic guy? Do you go in there kind of waiting for that guy to move, or you really scout the other guy, or are you just more like, I'm going to attack, I'm going to do my style and make that guy adjust?
I like to wait a bit when I wrestle, kind of feel my opponent out and see what he does and kind of adjust my style of wrestling to what he's kind of weak at. I kind of like to counter his moves rather than initiate the attack.
All right. Now, Joe, coming back with the rest of the team, who else besides, Alex is having a great year. Who else has been really exciting for you to watch this year?
It's interesting. With the numbers that we have, we can see everybody develop individually. But we've been really excited. Ross has had a few injuries, Ross Arf, and now with him getting healthy, it's good to see him kind of get in the mix and see if he can hold up for the rest of the season, because he's still dealing with the same injuries. Modan Goldman, him being a returner, and Isaac Galaviz, they're being returners. They're starting to step up a little bit. And then probably another guy that's been improving a lot is our heavyweight / 97-pounder. He's worked his way down to 97, Isaac De La Cruz. And since he's been at 197, he's been highly competitive. He's actually just got in the top 8 in the state ranking. So he's ranked right now 8th. I think he's still got a ways to go. I think he can be in the top 4.
Now, it's a smaller group, and you feel like you're going to have a guy to compete at each level and maybe score higher as a team than you would in certain big tournaments?
Yeah, with having large numbers, we've been able to kind of maintain in the 12th and higher ranking. Now with smaller numbers, we won't do too well in duels. We're 4-4 at the moment, but I think with our individuals being kind of powerful, we can still maintain and be in the top 10.
Now, you do have a lot of guys get back from last year. Have they helped just because in the room they know what to expect? Have they been able to help those newer guys come along in that smaller group?
It's always helped to have some bodies. We do have returners. It's just the returners are in different categories. So we have 3 3-year returners, and then we have Alex, who redshirted last year, so he's kind of considered a returner, but it's a different role for him because he's really, this is the first time competing.
Yeah.
So it is helpful, but to be truthful, we're used to having 10, 12 returners.
Yeah.
And so it's a tough task for us 3 or 4 people to be leaders.
Now, Alex, after sitting out last season, what were some of the things that you saw at this level that you thought would make you helped you have a successful year this year? Was there something you saw during your redshirt year, or was something you improved upon during that time off that you really think has helped you get to that spot this year?
I've noticed the competition is a little more stronger than high school and more technical than high school. So I knew that I was going to deal with the same type of competition as I was in high school. I knew how to get a little stronger, be a little more precise with my wrestling skills, and just kind of really hone down on what I can do. Now,
you've been very successful this year. I think you're 23-2 at this point, which is a very successful season. Did you come in with those type of goals? Are you ready to take on the challenge and try and be number one here? Is that just kind of one of those things you put up on your bulletin board? That's what I want to be, or is it just working out that way that you're just wrestling and it's happening?
I came in the season knowing that I want to be first. I want to be everybody that stood in front of me, and I did have kind of a rocky start trying to get into shape at first, but I knew that once I got my engine rolling that I was going to be dominant. Now,
you guys had the Meathead Movers Invitational a few weeks back. How was that working? I mean, that's been kind of turning into the premier event.
Absolutely.
Alex was an upper division MVP in the upper division weight classes in that event.
Yeah.
Talk about what the Meathead Movers and what that's done for your program and for wrestling in general.
Aaron Steed and Meathead Movers, and him being, he's an alumni, and him helping support us has been great. The tournament, itself, it's ran very well. I think it was the best this year actually, and it was weird. We only had a dozen people to move mats and do all these things, but we're extremely efficient this year. People come back, come back for the food. They come back for the timeliness
of it. Did your dad do the barbecue again?
No, he didn't. But we found a guy that was just as good. I don't know how, but we did. They got a lot of compliments on the efficiency of the tournament and while it's run, and it's a good staple. People come because it helps you with your ranking in state. I mean, we get a lot. It holds a lot of water at rankings.
Does that central location also help a lot?
Absolutely. Being centrally located, it's easy for the Palomar down south to come, as well as Shasta way up north.
Yeah. Again, we're hosting the regionals coming in December.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the things, last kind of question I want to have for you, the prospects for state and what it's taken. This year is a small year, but what are some of those things that you do use to create a winning atmosphere in the room?
You have to have buy-in. We have to have buy-in. These kids are coming from different areas, and a lot of times their opposing teams are big rivals, like Buchanan, Gilroy, and they now we're on the same team. And one of the things, it's buy-in. We do a lot of team building right off the get-go, and we got to keep preaching that philosophy, reinforce it. What we want to do, we want to be in shape, we want to be competitors, and when we step on the mat, let's do those things.
Well, let's step on the mat and win ourselves a state title this year. So thank you, Joe, for joining us. Thank you, Alex, for joining us. That does it here for wrestling here on Cuesta Sports Monthly. When we return, we'll be back with cross country with Coach Brian Locher and Miranda Daschian. We're back on campus with Cuesta Sports Monthly. I'm Peter Schuler, and cross country is headed to the state championships next weekend. This is the 9th straight trip for the men's team and the 15th time for the women since 1976. we're glad to have Coach Brian Locher and his top runner, Miranda Daschian, join us today. Welcome, Brian. Welcome, Miranda. It's been another great season. How do you feel about how the season's worked out so far?
Fantastic. I think from on the female side, since Miranda's here with us today, I think that we've done a really great job of getting the girls where they need to be by the end of the season. We've definitely had our shake-up of injuries and bang-ups and fatigue and things like that, and I think we've gotten the girls to a really good spot. Our best showing all season was last weekend, so we have to be happy with that.
Now, Miranda, you've had a pretty fantastic season. How do you feel about this year? Last year you sat out, but now you're back this year. You feel pretty good about this cross-country season so far?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think winning a lot has made me pretty confident, and I've been working pretty dang hard since this summer, so feeling pretty good.
Now you didn't run for Cuesta last year, but you did run in spring. Mm-hmm. Was having that base from track and field, did that help coming in this year?
Oh, definitely, and it definitely helped me get people that I know I could run with, and it just gave me a good base and made me more confident for cross country. Now,
Brian, not only is Miranda as a conference champion this year, but also on the men's side, Sean McDermott led the men. He was a conference champion this year. He was an all-state runner last year.
Yeah.
What's it like coming with the men, having an all-state guy back to start with?
It's been fantastic. I mean, Sean's an extremely hard worker. Always has been since he's been here, and does. I was talking to Miranda backstage. He does all the little things that he needs to do, just like Miranda does, to make himself successful. And when you have someone who has that sort of leadership style, it really rubs off on the other guys in the team. So we have a small six-man crew, but very dedicated to what they're doing, and I feel like we're right where we need to be going into state as well.
Yeah, it was special for Cuesta College to have a conference champion for both the women's team and the men's team. Miranda, you won the regional last week by 20 seconds. How does that build your confidence going into the state championships in 2 weeks?
It just helps me know that I've kind of made my way through the Southern California girls, and now I can just kind of take on the northern section girls, and just a little bit of confidence boost there.
Now, as a runner, is your mentality, is it better to have someone kind of on your heels that push you a little bit more, or did you feel comfortable having that big a lead?
Well,
but just running your race.
The girl that got second, she's been pretty close to me the entire season, so I feel like this last race, it definitely was just my time to kind of push it and see how I could do without having to worry about her as much.
Brian, with the women doing as well as they are right now, but you've kind of had a piecemeal group this year. You've had runners miss and runners here.
Yeah.
Miranda's been a big consistency for you.
Yeah.
How's that team coming together? Is it going to be ready to go all the way?
Yeah. I mean, our number 2 girl right now, Lazy Cassidy, just had her best workout of the season today. So her confidence is going into state is high.
I saw her running on my way over here.
There you go.
So,
yeah.
so good.
Yeah, she's doing great. She's been dealing with IT band syndrome all season, but we've just kind of been running through it, and she's doing fantastic with that. And our number 3 girl has only run one race this year at conference, and she's getting very fit and has a high level of confidence going into state too. So I'm looking forward to see what she can do. And our 4th girl is actually our number 1 girl from last year, so I can't be unhappy with that.
Yes.
And I think that we have a strong contingent of girls who can finish number 5 for us and help possibly push us into the top 3 teams in state.
Now, a lot of people think of cross country as an individual sport, but you've always kind of gone with it as a team aspect. How do you build that in such a because these guys are out on the course by themselves? What is it that you try to work with these guys to make them in the team rather than just a bunch of individuals?
I feel like a lot of cross country runners are really focused on times, and Mike and I don't really talk about that very often. We're not as concerned about time as place. And we both feel that if you put your best effort forward to help contribute to the group effort, that you're doing what you have to do for your team. So it's not really about how fast you run that day, but what you're able to do in terms of helping the team to be successful.
And that's kind of your focus all the way through, and that's really paid off for you in the long run.
Yeah, we do a lot of team building at the beginning of the season and group dynamic work, and the girls, just like in any sport, they just spend so much time together. The guys, the same thing, and they as the season continues, they rely on themselves more and more, or rely on each other more and more to realize that team goal. So as you get closer to your championship season, your conference, SoCals, and state, the girls they begin to really take the team aspect of what's going on quite a bit more seriously, and what they want to be able to step up for their team.
Now, Miranda, do you feel that as kind of the leader of the pack? Do you feel that need to lead, not just as a runner, but also as a leader on the team, as a kind of a...
No, definitely. I
individual?
mean, everyone is getting kind of tired this close to the end of the season, and so you need to make sure that you're motivating the girls and staying positive, and that definitely helps keep the team solid together.
All right. Now you had a great track season last year. Now you have a great cross country season. Do you have a favorite? Or is it do you prefer the running around in circles, or do you prefer the running with a view? I guess it is. Huh?
I'm actually more about running in the circles. That's part of why I didn't do cross country last year, because it's not my favorite. But
Brian didn't miss you at all. No. Okay, so cross country. Do you have a favorite course this year so far?
Probably the one that we just did, because since I like track more, I tend to like the flat more, and so the course it only had one big hill, so I feel like I was more focused.
Is it duck pond filled down there, or is it they clear out the ducks in that park for that?
Oh, there weren't any ducks.
Okay.
That I
In
remember.
summertime, there's a lot of ducks at that park. I've been there before. Now you're coming through this year. Are you planning on running track again, running around in circles again?
Yeah.
What after that? Are you looking to move on to the next level?
Yeah, I'm hoping to run a 4-year somewhere.
Okay. You're still a free agent at this point, though, huh?
Definitely.
Okay. All right, Brian. Just a little bit more, but I just we have Miranda here, but just seeing what you want to say to get more runners here. If you were, what's the big selling point for Cuesta College and running? I know it's a great running community, but
It's a good question. I was expecting that one. I think that the biggest thing that is a difficulty from a community college standpoint is, especially in an affluent community like ours, is selling kids on the fact that coming to a community college, despite the fact that they may be getting good grades in high school or have other options, may be the best course of action to go where they want to go. I think that our track record in terms of helping kids get to the next level, achieve accolades that maybe they've never been able to achieve before, and really our success on the track sort of speaks for itself. So when I'm recruiting kids and talking to them, that's not a focus of mine, because I think that it speaks for itself, as I said.
I think it does speak for itself.
Yeah.
And I'm going to wish you guys both very well at state, and come run for Coach Brian Locher here at Cuesta College. That does it for cross country here on Cuesta Sports Monthly. I'd like to thank Miranda, Daschian, and Brian Locher for joining us. When we're back, it's basketball on Cuesta Sports Monthly.
Communication.
Yeah, the curveball.
Explore the world of digital communication and tap into your creative genius. Television, radio, broadcast, communication.
This is your boy, the DUI, and you're listening to KGUR.org.
Your digital future is at Cuesta College right now.
Welcome back to Cuesta Sports Monthly. It is time for the interview segment. And this week we'll be working with basketball. We have Coach Rusty Blair and a late scratch from women's basketball coach Ron Barba. So I'd like to welcome Rusty Blair. The Cougars are in their pre-conference schedule right now. Just started last week with the 48th Rabobank tournament. How's this team looking this year?
We're young, Pete. We do have quite a bit of potential, though. I think our question marks are inside play, rebounding, center. But we can still stick the ball. As been indicated this weekend, we shot the ball very well. We won 2 out of 3 games, and actually the toughest 2 opponents, the ones we defeated, the easiest opponent, we came out the first night completely nervous. First time for many guys on the floor since last year in high school, and they were really nervous. That actually cost us the game.
Now you did have all-conference guard Karim Uzel back. But the other 3 starters were, off the bench. Andre Seguato had a little time, but both Alex Awande and Ryan Gilroy were, definitely reserves for you last year. Right. Now in new roles this season. So how is that coming out with the new roles for those 3?
I think the roles have not been defined as of yet, because we're still trying to search for that post player, which we have not found. We had a post player from Eric Suter from Connecticut that went down with concussion protocol, is out for the season. So we lost our 6'9" post player. Now we're down to 6'4", 6'5", trying to fill a position that we don't have a player for. So we're doing fine. We're basically guard-oriented right now, but we do need that rebound power.
That's one of the things you've had in the past, is always that strong postman. Roberto Mantovani played well for you last year. You had Christoph Ongenot, Jimmy Allen. Right. The list of top flight, 4 or 5s or power forwards and centers you've had has always made Cuesta stick out a little bit in the conference. Right. And so going to a guard-oriented play, is that something you've had to change? Is that a transition for you from your normal thing, or is this just kind of working in?
No, I think we're going to stay with what we have. We're just going to create new positions for different people. Hopefully they're not resistant to going to those new positions, but we definitely are not going to scrap all of our offenses because our post player went down with the concussion protocol. We have to maintain what we have, and I think we'll be fine.
Okay. Now let's talk about some of those guys coming back. Kremuzell, all conference last year. Mm-hmm. You've moved him more from a shooting guard more to a strictly point guard. Right. How is that transition working for him so far?
Well, actually, our plan was to move him to a straight point guard position as a setup guy, but he's too good of a player and too good of a scorer to just rely on the setup. So we're utilizing him as a scoring point guard. And as indicated, as our stats from our first 3 games, he ended up being the leading scorer for us for the 3 games and averaging 18 points after 3. So I think that's going to be his role as a scoring point guard. Distribute when he can, but when we call out his number, he needs to look to score.
Okay. Now, one of the other guys you have coming in, Alex One-Day, who also had a big weekend last weekend, kind of mixing both playing post and a little bit on the outside. He's hitting his 3-pointers this week. So is that kind of what you envisioned for him, or is that just something that kind of opened the shots and they made him?
Yes. To tell you the truth, Alex has been one of the guys resistant to go to the post position because he is a wing player. But we've had long discussions saying, would you rather play 25 minutes or would you play 5 minutes? I think he's made that decision now. He's buying in. And obviously we can use his outside shot as indicated by a 12 for 15 3-point shooting performance over the weekend, which is unbelievable, 80%. So yeah, but we do need some strength inside, and his body, 6'7", 220 pounds, he should be a guy to get to the basket.
Now the other sophomore you had, Andre Seguato, was coming off the bench. He's kind of an instant offense type player. Now his transition now into a starting role, is that different for him now? He's going to have to increase his game, is kind of brief there.
I would agree, and he needs to be able to shoot when he gets the ball. He's been lights out, virtually lights out for the first month in practice. I mean, we're talking about he does not miss, and it was kind of scary to see somebody shoot the ball that well. We do know that obviously in the games you're going to be playing different styles, different pressure, and it's going to come to light where it's not quite as easy as it might be in a practice. And but he's going to be counted on heavily, probably to score somewhere between 12 to 15 points a game, and he is a 3-point shooter, bona fide 3-point shooter.
Now last year you guys kind of hit the skids at the end after a great regular season, kind of slid your way into the postseason last year, making the playoffs, but on a downhill slide. I think you lost 5 of your last 7 games. Sorry to bring that up, but one of the guys you brought back this year, you've described him as your glue. Third-year guy, Ryan Gilroy. What's his role this year?
Well, statistically, you're not going to see much from Ryan, but he does everything else. He's the organizer on the team. He's the daddy of the team. He's organizing everyone together. He's going to do the dirty jobs. He's going to take the charge of the loose balls. He's going to talk. He's going to communicate between the coaches and the players and the players and the coaches. And I need him on the floor, even though his stats don't indicate that he should be on the floor. He's too valuable a player just to idly sit on the bench. He is also our team captain.
Yeah. So you have him as kind of the leader on the floor. You obviously have Karam Uzel, who's going to score, and he's also your leading assist guy. Right. You have Alex One-Day. You have that kind of nice group coming back. Yes. Who's really excited you so far coming out of your new group, your freshmen?
Well, I think Noah Sanders, without a doubt. He was the nervous guy the first game. I never saw him play so nervous at any time in his 3 months since he's been at Cuesta. But he finally picked it up his second game, his third game. I think he had 12 and 12 his second game, and I think he had 18 and 9 or 10 his the third game. He's a guy that's very athletic, very slight built. He probably needs to put on some weight. That's perhaps why he's in junior college. But he is a Division I player that's waiting 2 years out for him to go. He can shoot the outside shot, but his main attributes is rebounding to the basket. But once again, he lacks the size for that, but he definitely has the athletic ability to do it.
You're talking about needing a post player. He's
Yes.
he's a slender guy.
Yes.
But he does rebound like a bigger
Yes.
guy because
Yes.
he really just plays above the rim a lot.
Plays a little way above the rim, which is nice.
Yeah. So you're looking at him. He's still going to be a scorer inside
Correct.
just because of his hops, but you're also going to try and beef him up in the weight room a little bit.
Yes.
I think that's going to be the role
Obviously, yes.
he's going to need to do.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Now last year you had a lot of players. You've always had recently. You've had a lot of players coming in from out of the country that really have found a nice place for Cuesta as a transition from
Right.
those guys who want to go on and play D1,
Right.
come to Cuesta and then move on. And that's part from you being a coach and player in Europe for so many years,
Right.
and then your assistant coach Casey Blair also went back and played in Europe. So your son.
Right.
But this year you have a different mix. Talk about the diversity of this team, because you don't have all foreigners, and you have some local kids, and you have some just Americans from around the country. So how did that work out this
Well, to
year?
be actually truthful, Pete, I'd like to have that mix, 50-50. It just hasn't developed in the last few years, and we've went with a overload from internationals. But this year, we've had some players contact us from out of the state that have actually enrolled in school. We knew who they are. They had good statistics in high school, and they were good players. And actually, they traveled a long way to enroll in Cuesta. Now, kind of lucked out too, because we've got two guys that have aunts and uncles on the Central Coast coming from out of state, and kind of makes it nice. We were lucky sitting in the right place at the right time. Noah Saunders is a military child, and his dad was just switched out to California, so we got him because his dad was looking to find a junior college in California. And Noah's received quite a few Division II contacts, but his sights are set for Division I, and we're going to get him there.
All right. I mean, let's talk about some of your success as your students moving on. You've had a lot of success moving on, the players to four-year schools and stuff. So how are you looking with this group, and what is some of those keys to your success of having players move on to the next level?
Well, one of the main key is that they perform well in a winning team situation. If the team isn't winning, their chances are greatly reduced. So we always stress team first, and then if you can contribute individually to that team setting, you have a great chance to move on. And I think our program is recognized throughout the United States as something that's very fundamental, that's well coached, and guys can put the ball in the basket. They know how to play defense, and mainly they have a winning attitude, and that's something that the next level is looking for.
Well, I think that winning attitude is going to take you guys a long ways this year, and good luck this year, Coach. I'd like to thank Rusty Blair for joining us here on Cuesta Sports Monthly, and that will do it for Cuesta Sports Monthly this month. We'll see you in spring. That concludes today's edition of Cuesta Sports Monthly. Remember, to keep up to date with Cuesta Athletics, visit the Cuesta Athletic website for information on all of your Cuesta Athletic teams. We'd like to thank today's guests, Brian Locher, Miranda Daschian, Joe Dansby, Alex Garcia, and Rusty Blair. This show is produced at Cuesta College by the Cuesta Film, Television, and Electronic Media Department as part of the Cuesta TV project. Check out Channel 2 all year long for shows like this and other Cuesta broadcasts. Thank you very much for joining us here at Cuesta College, and thank you for support of Cuesta Athletics.